Welcome back. It's Scout Report, and I've got one more review this week to share with you. One because it was so good, I just couldn't not review it. Yes, Szymon Kudrański's No Man's Land from Image, a brand new #1. And I tell you what, guys, this is definitely worth watching. So before we get into it, page by page, there will be spoilers. So like the video if you like the video, read the book if you don't want to spoil, and of course, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Go do it right now. Go on. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, No Man's Land is set during a sort of post Cold War in America. And we find this FBI agent who's been working for 2 decades is finally retiring, and he's looking forward to it. He sacrificed a lot of his life to being an agent. You know, he's put family and his marriage on the rocks. It's finally time to put his feet up and just relax and go to Florida and enjoy the sun. Now, this is a very interesting lead up to this. I'm going to also say the art is really nice, really nice. There's some cinematic stuff. It says aggression is an innate part of human nature. Violence, though often seen as a blight on our progress, has been the forge in which our evolution was tempered, refining us from mere survivalists into the cultured beings we strive to be. War has marched alongside humanity since our earliest days, its ideas woven into the fabric of our oldest tales and beliefs. The hunger for power, the drive for influence, these primal urges have fueled the flames of conflict throughout history, whether for personal gain or the greater good of society. In the theatre of war, each side, cloaked in the righteousness of its cause, can morally or spiritually justify its actions, driven by its own motivations and interests. Peace, that elusive ideal, finds its true foundation in the harmonious fabric of society. However, for peace to stand the test of time, there must be a readiness to engage in conflict, to safeguard it with war. Now, I wanted to read that because it really is this overarching theme throughout this book. And also, I think it's incredibly important because this is where the world is right now. It's never been so true, this full page of text. So I thought I just wanted to highlight that because I think people in general need to start thinking different and acting different in this world. So, what's happened? There has been a murder. There has been a murder in a stretch of water. Okay, now this stretch of water is between Alaska and some Russian land. Okay, and in the winter it freezes over and you can basically walk across it. Now, because it's directly in the middle of this water, right, there's no specific jurisdiction of who this crime belongs to. Now, we have this retiring FBI agent right here, Agent Collins, and he is writing up his official resignation, and he's called to the boss's office, and he wants to prepare a speech to give his boss to say goodbye, but his boss does not have time for it because guess what, Sonny? You ain't going home yet. You've got one more mission. He said, but listen, I'm retiring. I'm not doing this. He said, yep. He said, well, don't make me quote, section 12 of the FBI contracts handbook that says, if you're still on duty, I can extend it if it is a matter of national security. And that's what it is. So essentially, there are some secrets in this body, which has been brutally murdered, and the insides plucked out and placed and arranged next to the body, which means it's not an animal that's done it, it's a human. So there is a FBI agent on the way, Agent Collins, and also, of course, the Russians are sending their agents. So this is very difficult situation because once you cross into the Russian territory, you will be considered a spy and you will be dealt with as such. So there is a lot at risk here. And that is essentially the plot of the book. So we meet the Agent Collins, and he has to go and tell his wife he's got one more mission. Now, she is not happy, right? So she tells him, look, and I've stuck with you for 20 years. I made the sacrifices. I can't even sleep because I'm always terrified. I'm on medication because I'm always worried that the phone's going to ring and say that you've been killed, or someone's going to knock at the door and say that you've gone missing. He says, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. And you're going on another mission. I thought this is all done with. And he's like, it's the job. It's the job. And he's basically like, deal with it. I've got to do it. And she's like, do you know what? Yesterday I filed divorce papers. So his wife is leaving. And he's an old boy here. He's not a young man. He is an old boy. He joined the FBI a long time ago. And that's been his whole life. He's been married to the job more than he was married to his wife. And she's had enough. So Kevin Collins, he sits and stares at the window, ready to go off to Alaska. And I really love how they change the colors in the artwork. So we've got these sort of bright sort of yellows and oranges for part of the story, and then we get the explanation stuff and the more pen stuff. It goes all black and white. It's really, really well done. It juxtaposes the themes and the feelings, and it's kind of subconscious that you start feeling differently as you're reading those sections. It's really, really well done. So anyway, he has to wrap up warm. It's a terrible time in Alaska because it's like the coldest it can be. He's got to be very, very careful not to get stuck out there. And off he goes. And the journey's really well done as well. Well, you get this big, long narrative about, what we expect, what's happened. The whole story is told. He says, we know from the civilian's description that the victim's intestines were removed and placed carefully next to the body. And we find out a very little about this body, about this murder. We also find out that the Russians are on the way. And the thing is, if you get stuck out there, there is not there's not anywhere really near where we can come and help you. And I love how they do the journey, like I say. It honestly reminds me of an old 60s espionage movie, which is exactly what I think it's supposed to do. So you see him boarding the plane, and then you get the sort of the journey across the map. And then we land here because once he lands, he's going to be picked up by a helicopter. And the helicopter is going to take him. And the helicopter only goes in a few times as well. So we kind of see the plane land, and then we see the plane sort of go in and the helicopter come back up to us. It's really well done. It's taking you on the journey. I love how the story's being told, and we see just how bleak it is. It is bleak. And the helicopter pilot, he's telling him as well, he says, listen, I heard they sent you up from Washington, huh? It's because of that dead girl, isn't it? Poor thing. God rest her soul. He says, truth is, God left this place a long time ago. I come out here about 4 times a year. Most of the time, it's supply runs for the scientist teams, or if someone gets hurt, it's me who takes them to hospital. So he's saying basically the natives here take care of themselves. No reason for me to fly all the way out here with cargo of the medicine. They know how to hunt and how to protect themselves. He says, okay, partner. And this is the bit that's quite, because there's I'll be back in 3 days' time. Hey, do something for me, would you? This place is hell on earth for someone from the cities. Stay alive, okay? And he comes out, and I still don't think that it's really settled into him just how bleak and dangerous where he is. And then it just dawns on him, it's just white. It is just white. And he realizes just how much trouble he's in and just how big the task is. And then we see this body and her innards frozen in the ice. To be continued. And then we get this cool little newspaper clippings about the Russians and United States at the time, in the 20s, in the 40s, to build up that whole Cold War, that feeling of dread that it's all going to go terribly wrong at any moment because America and Russia, are going to start fighting each other. So this book was really beautifully done. I mean, the art is so well done, and it really, really takes you on this journey. The dialogue is really sharp, and again, very poignant considering the time that we live in right now. The characters are relatable. I'm so into this book. I'm going to say that it's my indie book of the week. In fact, yes, absolutely my indie book of the week. So written, created, and art by Szymon Kudrański. Translation assistants, editor Atom Morwill, letterer DC Hopkins, and the cover design, learning translation by Szymon Kudrański as well. So, One Man Art Comics. I'm going to guess this has been published elsewhere in his native tongue. Maybe because of the translation, but boy, oh boy, I'm glad Image have put this book out. It's brilliant. So let me know what you think. Definitely like the video. I know you want to, and definitely subscribe. I know you double want to subscribe, and I would really, honestly, I'd really appreciate it. So thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you hopefully in the next one.